Welcome back everyone, it's Venengi and Rhino, and it's time to get back into some speculation. I talked a little bit about this info video. I talked a little bit about this in my info video, but I wanted to dive a little more in depth and talk about it. And that of course is, could Nya'lotha still be the last boss in Battle for Azeroth? I know, I won't let it go. But while I wanted Nya'lotha to get his own expansion, his own story, it seems like that may not be the case. The battle between the Horde and the Alliance may be the doing of the old god. Since his final prison is failing, he has become more powerful, easily corrupting and whispering into the people on Azeroth. This may be why a war even started. I said in the video that it may turn out that it's not the Horde or the Alliance's fault, and I will stick to that for now. Of course it could change. We know that Old Year will be the first raid, and that Azshara will follow. Apparently like Gul'dan in Legion. Of course that's just speculation. But that means that Nya'lotha's main puppets have been slain. That means there's nothing standing between us and him. I do feel like there's one more person we have to see, maybe a top general. Someone who could become, theoretically, the Kil'jaeden of the expansion, unless Azshara is the Kil'jaeden of the expansion. Unless, of course, they want to do a faction boss in Kil'jaeden's spot, maybe Genn or Sylvanas, but that would still leave one tier of rating left, if they follow Legion's example. Now, we got Argus in the last patch of Legion. Could we get Nya'lotha as the last zone in Battle for Azeroth? For those of you who don't know what Nya'lotha is, it's basically either a spirit place or a shadow realm where the dead or defeated old god minions go. Or it could actually be a city. See, apparently Nya'lotha awaits there sleeping, waiting for his prison to break. So we could theoretically get an underground zone near the end of the expansion. Would be really damn cool, although Nya'lotha could possibly just be a city under the sea, where Azshara is. After all, we don't know where we'll be fighting her. While this theory is possible, I would hate for this to happen. I would hate to see the Deathwing treatment of the old one. He deserves an expansion to himself. I hated Deathwing's fight mostly because he deserved so much more as a lore character. He should have gotten a better fight, and Nya'lotha should have his own expansion. This, of course, unless we got the theme of the entire expansion wrong. On the surface it looks like Horde and the Alliance, but maybe this is still Nya'lotha's expansion. There's a few clues that something either really bad happened in the start, and it's something that we can start with, and maybe build upon that with more crazy speculations. In the start of the cinematic for Battle for Azeroth, the intro cinematic, we notice that Sylvanas' war paint, is running. That leaves us to believe that she may have been crying, unless that's just her new look, which I guess more power to her. But let's assume she was crying. Crying over what? The death of her sister Verisa? Maybe a betrayal of her sister? We know that Teldrassil gets burned down, but Blizzard put the question in our heads. Was the battle for Undercity payback for Teldrassil, or was Teldrassil the retaliation of the Horde? People are saying that Sylvanas is being framed as most likely, and I agree with this, considering the fact that why would she be crying at the start of the battle? If she knowingly burned down Teldrassil, she must have known the Alliance was coming in full force, meaning she could have prepared a much better trap for them. So let's say that the old god Nya'lotha is behind everything. He starts a war with the Alliance and the Horde so his agents can work in the shadows and brace for his arrival. He would of course stop us at any moment from ruining the coming of the Twilight Empire. He would ensure the war continues, attempting to keep us at each other's throats while the entire world falls to him. By the time our leaders realize, it'll be too late. He would then frame or set up somebody the entire way. Let's say 3 times he'll do this. Il'gynoth said that the boy king who serves at the master's table will serve 3 lies. But I can't believe that this is Anduin, because he would never serve an old god. Especially the part serves at the master's table, meaning that there is a betrayal within us. Unless Anduin was replaced, but I hope he doesn't get the variant treatment. Nya'lotha would also ensure that we cannot change history in our favor. There's one pesky little gnome that has the power to stop him. Nya'lotha may kill Nozdormu's mate in the Caverns of Time, whispering, twisting, and corrupting him to become Morozond, and then tasking him with the death of Chromie. Wrathion may have his part to play in this. Leaders of the Dragonflights being hunted down and killed so they cannot stop the coming darkness, like their Titan masters wanted them to do. This will ensure that we are all alone. Azshara's time has come to stop us, or we could possibly stop her first. At the hour of her 3rd death, she will usher in our coming. We know that Sylvanas has already died 3 times. Once to become a Banshee, the 2nd time via killing herself and going to hell, and the 3rd time by the betrayal of Lord Godfrey and his mates. But what about Azshara? She died on the inside when she was overthrown. She died when she accepted N'Zoth's deal to become a Naga. Maybe the third death woman is her. Maybe this quarantine facility will lead us to her, showing that she will force our hand and blind us into releasing N'Zoth. After all, we've been playing right into N'Zoth's hand. Everyone mentions Khadgar as a Lord of the Ravens, but this could also be a red herring, considering Odin could possibly make an appearance and attempt to shut down this Titan quarantine facility, Uldir. After all, he is the prime designate, and he's also based on Odin from Norse religion, which is known as the Lord of Ravens. Everything we have done or will do is by the old god's design. He is playing a game of 4D chess and we're all playing checkers. This is going to be amazing, and if the title suggests the Battle for Azeroth, then he will play a part in it. But how big? We cannot know for sure. I hope that N'Zoth gets his own expansion, as I've said, and not just another fight in the cage. But we will for sure see signs of him popping up, and also the events leading to his release. Maybe at the end of the expansion when we defeat Ajara or Morozond, then his prison will fail. Azeroth shakes once more, and N'Zoth will be free. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this very brief speculation on Battle for Azeroth. Of course, we'll know more in the coming months leading up to its release, and I'm sure much will be spoiled to us. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe to see more. Do you want to see N'Zoth in this expansion? Do you want to see an underground zone like Argus was? Leave a comment below, and I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. And until next time, guys. Bye.
Death is close.